The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition of the Swerve. Listen, as I told you, I'm branching out. We can't be all wrestling all the time, especially when wrestling isn't good anymore. Enough with the wrestling already. So what I do, this is what I do during my days. I go on Twitter and I stake out interesting people, and then I sit behind my computer. I hope they'll follow me so I could DM them. Next thing you know, we bring them on the show. They're stars in their own right, in other facets of entertainment, because like I told you, I'm an entertainer. I'm here to entertain you people. So today we're going to turn our sights over to the music world, because I have a special, unique individual who also happens to be a wrestling fan. So we'll talk about wrestling a little bit. But this individual, he's got a band by the name of Man Overboard. And he already had my heart when I found out that the band was formed in about 2008, a bunch of friends from Jersey. And now they're hitting their stride. They got a new album coming out in June. I went on YouTube. I saw a bunch of the videos for Man Overboard. I became a huge fan. This person I'm bringing on, just by the looks of him, I've never spoken to him before. I know he's a full-fledged gimmick. I know he's a full-fledged character by the first time I laid my eyes on him, and everybody knows how I feel about characters. So I'm talking about the lead singer of Man Overboard, Zac Eisenstein. Zac, are you there?
I'm here, man. What's up, Vince?
Bro, look at you, Zac. You're like, hey, Zac, listen, I'm going to tell you off the bat, Zac.
Yeah.
My dream, I can't imagine, listen, I work for the WWE. I was a head writer of the show. I've been to WrestleManias and all that crap.
Yeah.
But bro, my dream has always been to kind of be a lead singer and play in front of thousands of people. And bro, I saw some of your videos, and I know you play this. Now, I'm not hip and cool and up with the times.
Yeah, you are, but go ahead.
But I know you play this big, huge Vans Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And bro, you're playing in front of like 100,000 freaking people. Tell me about that, Zac.
Warped Tour is cool. It's something I grew up in our scene. It's a pretty big staple, and has been for over 20 years. So I'm growing up in New Jersey, and everyone in my band, and that was the first place our parents would drop us off at to go see bands. Like in life, we'd be like 12 or 13. Well, if the group of us was big enough, then we could all go to Warped Tour together, spend the day without our parents, going to see bands. It was cool. So come full circle. 2015, my band's on the main stage this year, so it's always surreal, and they always have great crowds because it's such an institution. Warped Tour tickets sell themselves. Kids want to go before the bands are announced, because I think when you're in high school, if you're into those bands and stuff, you're not cool if you're not going that summer.
Now, Zac, listen, I don't know too much about you. I loved your look immediately. We started DMing. I loved your energy. But now listen, Zac, you got to understand, I'm referred to as the Oprah of podcasting.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to get into
you. I'm a fan. My whole band listens to you.
Well, I got to get into a little bit of a background.
Okay, let's do it.
We got to get to know each other. It's kind of like a first date, Zac.
Uh-huh.
Now, Zac, I look at you.
Okay.
All right? Now, Zac, listen. You were a Jewish kid growing up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now, Zac, by the looks of my good friend Zac, it doesn't look like you were the quarterback of the varsity football team.
No.
You kind of look like Zac, no offense, but Zac, remember those ads when there was the skinny guy on the beach and the bully came and kicked the dirt on him?
Oh, man, I know. I know. Trust me, I heard it all.
Okay, now, were you that kid growing up in high school?
No, I I always somehow managed to my personality really overcame that. I guess that's what happened. I don't have any memories of being picked on, or I don't remember. I always had a lot of friends. And I'm just, it sounds like I'm, blowing smoke up my own ass, but I always had a attractive girlfriend. I always
even before you were this big rock star, you had attractive girlfriends?
Yes, but I'll give you this. I think it was because of my music still. Because even though I wasn't in a band and I was just a high school kid, like I wasn't in a known band, I was always in a known band at my school. And I was always in a band in my school that the kids knew who my band was who went to my school. And there was always some kids going to see us. I always kind of had that going for me in lieu of being a quarterback or being on, and I was pretty rebellious. I think I had if girls liked bad boys, they kind of liked me a little bit. I got in a good amount of trouble.
Yeah, Zach, tell me how this music starts. Zach, I have two boys. My oldest son is Will. He's 28 years old. My youngest son, VJ, is 25 years old today. They love music. They play music. They teach music. But, listen, bro, they never had like that break. They never made it. Zach, tell me, bring me through the stage of you literally becoming a punk rock star, bro. Zac Eisenstein, little Zac Eisenstein, a full-fledged rock god. How does that begin, Zach? I mean, let me live my fantasy through you.
All right. So as far as what you're saying about like the break and stuff, I think that there was a lot of hard work involved. We all quit. The three main guys in our band who started our band, at one point we're about 19 or 18, and all of us are going to college, and we all start jamming so much and making such good music that we quit college and move home. We all move home. Quit our jobs that we get for a little bit.
Now, let me stop you right there, Zach, because I think that's what stops my own kids. Like, Zach, at what point do you know that, what, we're good enough? Screw this college. We're going to be musicians. We're going to make it. We're going to make our dreams come true. How does that happen? How do you know?
You just start to feel it, maybe it's obviously you're feeling that's what you want to do. And then maybe some people that and you've been showing your music to your whole life are like, well, this is really good. For me personally, I was not going to class, and my dad called me one day. He said, if you want to do the music thing, you can move home now, do it, stop going to school, and I won't be mad at you. This is your pass. This is your window. Do it.
But you know what? But Zach, here's why I admire you. I got to be honest with you. Because, Zach, it's not the traditional route. And it's kind of you put all your eggs in one basket at that point because there's no plan B, right? There's
no plan B. I don't know. My plan B is that I would go. My father is a career employee, he does camera, and he's directs at NBC. He's been there for 30 years. So my backup thing I would try to go run cables at the television station with my dad, which would be great.
Well, okay, so Zach, now me and my two buddies. Now, Zach, are we talking about Nick and Wayne?
Yes.
You like the way I knew that, Zach? I did my research.
Wow.
Now, Zach, Nick is the other lead singer, right?
Correct.
Zach, I think you should sing all the songs. We'll talk about that later.
Sometimes Nick says that.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, okay, so now you and your buddies leave school. You big set of brass balls. Yeah. I like that. You're going to live at home. Now it's, okay, we're going to do whatever it takes to be musicians.
Yep.
Where do you go from there, bro?
First, we started going to all the shows that we could in the area, just like you would with like a independent wrestling show and flyering, except when kids come out of this show, we're giving them CDs for free. So, and we would have an attitude with people. You say, you want one of my CDs? They're like, nah, bro, it's free. They keep walking. You go, hey, screw you. Make people feel like a jerk. You say, take my band CD, it's free. So that way we would go home and we would know that whether we made any money or not, 200 people had our CD now in that town that didn't have it before. And besides from that, you just like, you quit school, you got to leave home now, because you got to be home as little as possible for some years, because otherwise you kind of should have just stayed in college, because that's the only way to really, you know, make good on your brass balls, you know?
Yeah, okay, so bro, you're giving out the CDs. People are now listening to the music. Then what?
They listen to music. That was the days of MySpace. This is like 2009. MySpace is huge. And we're going, oh my God, there's all these fans. Look at the numbers. And kids are liking us in California. So basically, you'll be aware at some point that there are people who are willing to pay money to see you far from home. And when you can as soon as you can string something together, that's gonna do anything for your band. You got to get out there and you got to go. You got to go play, even if it's a few people.
But what's that stringing together, Zach? So do you start booking yourselves? Do you and your buddies just go to like any clubs that will accept you? Almost like the indie wrestling, bro. Yeah, you're driving 500 miles for a $25 match. Is that what Man Overboard's doing?
Yeah, it's that was the route. You know, one thing I learned, I hang out at our local wrestling indie gym a good amount. And a thing I learned is that world, and the world of being in a band and trying to get it going off, you know, off your own 2 feet is the same. The only difference is the wrestlers get there and they got to do a match. I get there and I got to play music. Literally everything else is the same.
Because, bro, the main thing, and bro, this is what I'm gonna teach you something here, Zach. A lot of people don't know this, okay? And it's the same with you now, bro. Do you know, like, a lot of the wrestlers, they wind up with strippers, and the reason is, bro, stripping is very much like wrestling.
Oh yeah,
the strippers are working the guys, trying to get their money. The wrestlers are working the crowd, trying to get their money. I would assume, bro, it's the same for a rock band. You're working the crowd.
Well, a lot of people now, especially in my genre, like to pretend that in wrestling terms that it's not a work emotionally. But like, come on, man. Like, it doesn't take away from the sincerity it doesn't take away from how much I love my fans or what I'm putting into this, or it certainly doesn't take away from what my songs are about. But if I was to look you in the Google eye and say that I don't put a face on before I go on stage and put a new attitude on, then I'm lying. And you shouldn't lie to your fans either.
Now, let me ask you this, Zach. Hey, Zach, did some of that come from your love of wrestling? I mean, how much of your love for wrestling influenced your career in punk rock?
A great deal, the way I act on stage. Like, yeah, totally. I think I've been watching wrestling since I'm 27. I've been watching wrestling since as long as I can remember. Since The Ultimate Warrior, I was probably 3. And it's definitely a great deal, because I remember being a kid and obviously music has always been my number one. It's like it's how I function. But I would watch bands stand there and play, and then I'd go home and I'd watch wrestling and watch promos, and I would think about the concert I was at and how it would have been cool if he spoke to the crowd like this.
Right.
Instead of speaking to the crowd like, okay, well, our next song is called, Brush Your Hair Out of My Face. I think promos and loving characters, definitely. Yeah. And we have some routines and some gimmicks we do on stage that we've done every night for like a year.
Well, now, Zach, let me hit upon that a little bit. Now, Zach, I'm sure at some point in time, we're going to get back to the band. We got a lot to talk about this Man Overboard. We got to talk about the groupies. I've got to live my life through you, because I don't have that in my life. We're going to talk about all that. But I'd have to think at some point in time, you're following wrestling. I could see you're a character with your own personality. At some point in time in your head, you had to have a wrestling character. Tell me about that wrestling character you were.
I have a few. My main guy who's he switches back and forth between a good guy and a bad guy. I don't want to be one of those people who uses industry business terms, because I am not allowed to do that. And certain people will not think I'm as cool if I try to be cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So I would have my traditional guy like that who goes back and forth. His name would be Shooter Price. He's like a rock and roll style, like he's a grappler. You know, his name is Shooter. I want the story to be he can really fight, and he's got long hair. He kind of looks like he would be like Axl Rose or something, but like huge muscles. And
you're not talking about Van Hammer, are you, bro?
no, definitely not Van Hammer.
All right, okay, all right. I just wanted to clear that up. He would have the
moveset of Steve Austin and all the taunts and like Stone Cold. And then he would have like, you know, I would want him to give the middle finger and, you know, but still like be a fan favorite and be like all about rock and roll and like, I don't even care what happens to this belt. Like, who cares? Like, I'm just
Can you cut a promo for me as Shooter?
What would Shooter talk like? Shooter Price would say something like, he'd be like, who's he working? Who's he wrestling? I'm sorry.
He's wrestling the Junkyard Dog.
Okay, so he'd be like, JYD, I know you think you're big and bad and you're gonna come in and take this belt from me, dude, but you know what? JYD, maybe you will, man. I don't care. I'm just here to party. Shooter Price, baby. And then girls would come by and he would be like, and then Mean Gene or whoever would be like, I guess Shooter Price isn't really concerned about this match at all. And Shooter Price would just put his sunglasses on and walk away. Kind of like Ric Flair, kind of like is like that sort of to me.
Bro, Shooter is over. I can tell you that right. My personal opinion, Shooter is over, bro.
And then I got another character actually. When we were recording our last album, I'm digging around the studio. What do I find? A luchador mask.
Oh boy.
And everyone's getting we were drinking beers and stuff. And I'm sending videos to the guys at the wrestling gym in my town. And I made up a character called the Spicy Dragon with my luchador mask. But the Spicy Dragon didn't talk. I was just like throwing my body into chairs and stuff.
Well, where did Spicy Dragon come from?
I don't know, my drunken brain.
Yeah, you're drunken stupid. Now let's get back to this man overboard because I'm intrigued by this whole thing. So Zach, now we give out the CDs. We see we're getting a following. People liking us in California, all over the place. When's the break come? How does the break come about?
We just had our first one. The way it comes about, and by just, I mean, it ended in December. But I was on tour. I turned 22, 23, or 20, 22, 23, 24, 25 on the road.
Wow.
And then throughout then, I would probably be home at the most a month and a half, at the very most, all that time. Most of those years, I was home about 3 months of the year.
So you're just taking any gig you can get anywhere.
Yeah, within reason. But if things go well, eventually you get to start before long pitting one job up against another and saying maybe this makes more sense for us to do. You get options after a while, hopefully.
Hey, let me ask you this, and I hate to interrupt you, but I got 1,000 questions for you, Zach. Zach, wrestling is very political. No doubt about it, bro. No doubt about it. Is your world, is there a lot of politics? Whereas you could be the greatest musician in the world, but is there a game you have to play in order to make it?
Yes and no. I will say it's not. There's things that help you a great deal, but I don't, from what I imagine and the stories I've told listening to shows like your show and all the other wrestling things I've ever watched, from what I gather, it is a lot more worse and cutthroat in wrestling. And maybe a little more, the dark side of people comes out, maybe a tad bit more. That being said, if I could have the best songs in the world, but if I have 300,000 Instagram followers because I am a cute boy and I have six-pack abs and me and my friends hang out on the beach, then my record will probably sell better than the talented person's record off the bat. But that's just kind of like, and the business kind of operates accordingly at times, but that's not anyone's fault, really. That's what the people are doing.
Yeah, you know? But isn't that difficult for you, Zach? Because listen, bro, you love your music. You write your music. You perform your music. You're an artist, bro. You want your music to be heard. Isn't that difficult, bro? Like say the band Man Overboard, say you got to become more gimmicky. you know, in order to sell records, in order to sell CDs. How do you feel about that as an artist? Because at the end of the day, Zac, you really want the music to talk for you, right?
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, my philosophy is that if you can to find the best median or the best balance between what is going to make me money, what is going to do well for business, and what is going to make me happy. And I think nothing else besides those two things really matter. If I can combine and balance them, then it may be like a stupid, whatever I go on to do, maybe some like gimmicky or something in some people's eyes. But if I'm happy and it's doing business and I don't feel like I'm compromising anything, or if I'm pleased to do what I'm doing, then that's enough. That's as deep as I'm going to think about it, you know?
Yeah.
I can't worry about, there's so many opinions and like the rest of the music version of Smart Marks, they're there.
Yeah.
And I just can't, you know.
Basically, Zac, at the end of the day, you got to go with what you got, right?
Yeah. And you can't, there's too much to worry about if I'm going to try to, especially the longer we go on and keep playing music and keep touring, it's going to get harder to please everyone because there's more and more people you're leaving hooked on the things you did in the past. But that's anything.
Yeah. Now, Zac, I'm still a little confused. Listen, because you gotta explain this to me, because I gotta go tell my own kids this. We're talking about giving CDs away and people not taking our CDs, and you're cutting promos on them. The next thing I know, I'm watching music videos, and you're at the Van Warped Tour, and there's 100,000 people screaming for you.
Yeah,
you still haven't explained to me how that happened.
It's gradual, really. It's something that happens when you're doing it day in and day out and you're playing these shows every day. It seems to you in the band, as the guy in the band, it seems really gradual and it seems really, really slow because, you know, you see, it's like a kid that you see every day. And when you see someone else's kid, you're like, oh, he grew so much, you know? And it's like, well, I see him every day. I didn't notice. So every day, you just kind of look for morale to always be going high. But there are shows now and then, or there were, and there still are sometimes where you go, whoa, like today is different than it's ever been. And I hope that it stays like that. Some of them were for us, probably the first Warped Tour we ever did was day in and day out. You know, there was a lot of people watching us. And it got to the point where I guess you get comfortable and you stop worrying, are people going to watch us today? Yeah. And you just assume they're gonna. And once that happens, maybe for me, I guess there was a couple weeks went by and I said, it's weird. I don't even look at the crowd before we play anymore. Yeah. Like to see it, to peek out the curtain and see how many people are there. And I was like, well, I'm sure there's people.
Now, Zac, I want to ask you these questions. And listen, bro, I'm gonna come across as a mark. Because I'm always intrigued by these things, Zac, but I don't know how it works.
Well, the feeling is very mutual with what you've done with your life and me. So
yeah, well, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. But listen, I'm a writer. You know, I mean, I wrote wrestling shows, something completely different. Zac, here's something that I always try to get the answer from my son, and I always try to understand this. Like, Zac, what is the process of Man Overboard, like writing a song? As elementary as that question is, Zac, what is a process? Do you sit down first? Do lyrics come to your mind? Does music come to your mind? I'm so fascinated with music and how it comes together. Can you walk me through the process?
Sure. Most of the time, for me personally, it is lyrics. I like to write, and I like to write abstract stuff. And normally I'll think of a lot of times I really think of a cool sentence that normally this sentence will encompass a very complicated feeling to me and put it very simply, at least to myself. And that makes me like it a lot. And then I can build from there. Another thing that really happens a lot is I'm playing guitar, and I play something, the opposite thing. I play some music I like, and you'll think of a melody that goes over the music and say, what words can I sing that sounds like the gibberish that I was just singing? Because the gibberish is really good. So let's fill in the blanks with real words that actually mean something. That's like another way I can do it.
That's an artist to me, bro. That's a true artist to me. That's why I love having these conversations. But now, Zach, here's the thing. Like, do you sit down and write the music on a page, or do you guys just get together? You write the song, you start putting some music to it, then you jam together, and that's how the song is created?
90% of the time, either me or Nick, we write a song pretty much completely, and we go to and I'll write it down on a computer or on my phone. Honestly, it's all in the notepad on my phone for the past couple of years, my songs. And I'll write lyrics anywhere when we're riding on the bus or something on tour. And when I have the time to pick up the guitar and play and be by myself, I go into my notepad and I play along with the words I wrote. Or Nick will do something like that. When we get to the studio, it becomes a group effort to make it the transition between a guy singing and playing the guitar to all the different parts and the drums and the guitar solos and intro and the outro and all the different things.
But Zach, is any of that, okay, the music aspect of it, like you said, the intro, the outro, the drum part, the bass, the rhythm, is any of that like ever written down?
No, it's recorded. Well, it's like, no, it's kind of like we've been playing together for so long in any band that I'll be sitting there with the guitar. Yeah, I wrote the song, and then the next part, it goes like this, and then I sing another line, and they're all sitting around like, yeah. And then we'll have the drums be like, blah, 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 and they're like, yeah, we know. Everybody's ready. It's almost like two wrestlers cannot really have much planned, but could meet up maybe before a show, but outline how the match is going to go pretty quickly, and then they just want to get in there and do it. It's like we could just be like, dude, play one of the beat like the beat in this song, and then you do this, and then we'll go in there. Let's just go.
But wait, no, Zach, it's a whole different story. Hey, listen, bro, two wrestlers are getting together before a match, and they're talking about the match. Okay, you
Am I
guys
giving much credit?
Yeah, well, you guys now are on the Vans Warped Tour, right? Yeah. You're playing in front of 100,000 people. You got your song set now. Now, bro, are you literally you're not going note for note. At some point, you guys just start freeballing, right? You couldn't have possibly talked about that before the concert, bro. You got to be playing off of each other, no?
No, you're right. You're right.
How does that happen? How do you play off each other and everybody's in tune when you never communicated it?
Because you have to before you go off the hinges and do something that's not in the song, you got to make sure it goes along with a few certain things and that it's not going to mess anybody else up or clash with anything else that's going. There's an art to just doing that in general. You can't just start doing a guitar solo in the middle of the song and look at everyone and say, what? I'm jamming. We're in the moment. It's like, no, there's a time to be in the moment. There's time to, you kind of take a step back when you're not the important one of the part. The focus isn't really on you. There's things like that. There's an art to that. It's gotta.
Bro, I don't know how you guys do that. That's amazing to me. But like, are there ever any times, like sometimes, Zach, when I'll go to concerts, I'll hear a miss note or a this or that. Are there times like after the concert where you guys say to each other, like, what the F was that out there?
Almost every single day.
Really?
There's something.
So Zach, like while you're playing in front of 100,000, like you're hearing everything, bro?
Yeah, because I have in-ears. I have in-ear monitors they're molded for my ears, and I got going through there. I got my own guitar, my voice, a little bit of Nick's voice, and then the guy who's next to me, Justin, his guitar is in the huge stadium monitors, literally blasting 10 feet from my head, so I don't need that in my ears at all, and I can hear the drums. You'll say if somebody did something really bad, you can go backstage and give them a little bit of hell for it, but it's more common that people come back, look at each other, and go, I messed up, like I did this, like I'm stuck. And then hopefully the other guy goes, I don't even care, like something else happened with my pedal was like doing this or something.
And it's kind of like wrestling, bro. You know, Zach, you know, when wrestlers miss a spot or something, you know, like a Kurt Angle, he'll come in the back and he'll be so upset. But meanwhile, a regular fan would have never seen it in a million years. Kind of the same thing from
That's what we have to tell ourselves. Little things happen and we're like, I guess people don't know. Like we see ourselves we hear ourselves play live every single night. We're there, we're on stage. They probably haven't seen us live in over a year, so it was probably a little different.
Hey, Zach, how do you categorize your music? Now, I know you are heavily influenced by Blink-182. I know that's where you got the name of the band from. You know, and it is very, you know, I mean, you can definitely hear the influence of Blink. How would you describe Man Overboard?
Well, the world calls us pop punk, and a lot of people would have a problem with me putting it that way and say, the world calls you pop punk, you called yourself pop punk, because our logo has always been this defend pop punk thing. And the most common thing I get asked in interviews is, what are we defending pop punk from? But the fact of the matter is, Defend Hardcore was a shirt that another band had, and we simply made a novelty shirt that sold so well that no one in their right minds would stop printing them.
Right.
So we're not. It doesn't need defending for it, but we're pop. It's pop punk, which I don't think is an accurate term because pop is short for popular. A lot of people forget. So are we saying that we're popular punk music? Because certainly there's punk bands who are more popular than us. I think it's stupid. People have the meaning of pop music a little misconstrued these days. They think it means like bubbly and catchy. But pop is short for popular. You know, if I fart into a microphone and it's the most played thing on the radio, farts are pop music.
Right.
But that's what it is. It's pop punk. I think it's like, it's upbeat, like a teenage girl rock about relationships in high school. And
and we're gonna get into the teenage girls and Zach in a minute. But before we do, Zach, I gotta ask you this. Zach, can we have this conversation, me and you? And listen, you're gonna be totally honest with me, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, Zach, I love music. I'm an old school kind of guy. I don't like a lot of today's music. I just don't. But Zach, I gotta have this conversation with a musician, a full-fledged punk star, like Zac Eisenstein. Zach, I don't think rap music is. I don't think that's music. I don't think those guys are artists. I think, bro, Dr. Seuss wrote freaking nursery rhymes. These guys write rhymes and then they go out and they talk the rhymes. Bro, I hate rap music. I don't like anything. I don't think it's music. Zach.
Do you want me to change your mind?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe you're listening to the wrong artist. Just say, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm obviously not like, I hear you. But I also am a fan of rap. There's some guys that are able to rhyme things so well and tie in subjects and have one constant like stream of consciousness that takes you on some journey that's the value in it. Like when you can get wrapped up in a guy who's just going, he's just talking and he doesn't stop it, and you find yourself spacing out listening to him the same way that people could trip out listening to a crazy guitar solo or something. 9 minutes go by and this guy's just been talking at the speed of light, but you followed everything he said and he painted a picture for you.
Give me an example of some of these guys you're talking about.
Eminem can do that. Eminem can, if you listen to the real songs on Eminem's album, he's one of the most gifted, he's one of the most lyrically gifted people alive right now.
Okay. I kind of like Eminem. Is there anybody else I'm missing?
There's tons of guys that aren't like super famous and stuff, but I mean, there's a guy from Philadelphia called Meek Mill who I enjoy a lot. He does very well. I think he's Nicki Minaj's boyfriend. But
speaking of Nicki Minaj, listen, Zach, you know who I'm a big fan of? The only music I listen to today, Zach, this Rihanna.
She's awesome.
Zach, you're in the music business. Between you and me, nobody else listening to this interview. Have you ever had your way with this Rihanna?
Have I ever had my way with her?
Yes.
No, I think I'd be a lot more in the public eye if I did.
I love this Rihanna. You know what I love, Zach?
About me and her though? We were born.
Hey, Zach, we could start a rumor. I got no problem with that.
Well, this is a fact. Me and her were born on the same day, same year.
Are you serious?
2088. Me and Rihanna. I also have the same birthday as Kurt Cobain.
Do you really? Look at that, bro. You know what I love? I love, Zach, I love the women in music with the attitude that, like, you just feel like they kick your backside. That's what I like, bro, you know?
Rihanna's awesome, and she has a lot of songs that I really like. She collaborates on a couple songs with the guy Calvin Harris, who's a DJ who had a really good songwriter, I think.
Yeah. Now, Zach, we got to talk about. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here, because I got to vicariously live my life through you. Okay, I'm 54 years old. I've been married for 31 years. I got 3 kids. I think I don't even know how many kids I got. I got to live my life through Zac Eisenstein.
Yeah,
Zach, you got to tell me how this groupie thing works. I mean, like, really, like, I know there's listen. There's one for wrestling. In wrestling, they're rats. I know how it works. I know the whole thing. How does it work with the groupies and the musicians? How does that work, Zach?
The way, honestly, it's become, I'm going to sound like a real piece of you-know-what for saying this, but it's not as good as it is. I'm not living in Motley Crue's world. Let's put it that way. And the major reason is I am about 8 to 10 years older than most of the people who like my band, if not way more. So yes, I walk out the show and there's a lot of girls who want to talk to me, but they are normally between 13 and 15, and I am 27. That's not to say I have a girlfriend now. I haven't the entire time.
See, that's why you're saying all this, bro.
No,
you're saying all this because you got a girlfriend and she might watch the show. Come on.
No. It's just fewer and far people, there must be girls always trying to do this and that. Yeah, but like I don't want to go to jail either. And it's like, let's be real, it's 2015. You can't do stuff. Like everybody's on Twitter. Everything will end up on Instagram. You can't be like people used to be. You can't. Or everyone will know. The best thing I would tell a guy getting in a band like mine with the girls, I would say you talk to their moms when they bring them to the show.
Talking, okay. Oh, so you maybe a MILF here or there. You're okay with that?
Yeah, but the moms are like in their mid-30s. It's like pretty cool.
Is that too old for you, or is that okay?
No, that's awesome.
Oh, okay. So you're 27. What's like the limit, bro? Like what? 18?
19, I would say now. Nah, 20. For 20.
20. All right. So 20. It's okay.
20. I'm like.
Yeah. Tough decision.
Yeah. 20. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not so proud of that, but I didn't break the law. I think I'm too old to do it.
Hey, Zach, can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very interested in this stuff. Okay. Zach, you meet okay, and let's hypothetically, because I know you got a girlfriend now and you're afraid she's going to listen to this. Hypothetically, this is before girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, how does it work? Now, how does it work, bro? Give me both scenarios. Number one, give me the scenario if you see a hot chick in the crowd that you want to hook up with. Number one, so you're the aggressor.
Okay.
Give me that scenario first. How does that work?
I'm playing. There's a girl. I think she's hot. Try to make eye contact with her a lot while I'm playing. That's where it all starts.
Okay.
And then once you got them, you kind of have to keep it on. So they start to wonder, am I imagining this?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Am I imagining it? And then go, and you got to keep putting it on them and look at them and give them a face like, yeah, I am. This is happening. And then you smile and then you got to, the next step is you got to kind of put yourself out there. So after you play, you should go out. If this is your goal, you should go out. Now you're going out to meet all the kids, sign some autographs, but you pray to God. If she was feeling it, she's going to be there too. So you go there and you meet all the kids in front of her and you take pictures and you look real cool and you talk to her last. And then you're like, oh, yeah. And for some reason, you speak to her so much longer than you spoke to anyone else because it just so happens that everybody else that wanted to meet you is gone now.
Okay.
And you're like, yeah, we're just driving tonight. Like, what are you getting into? What's up? Well, I'm probably going to hang here and just get drunk. If you want to, I have we can drink. You want to pay?
All right, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep going.
I'm laying it on you.
Keep going. So now what happens?
Sit at the bar, have a few drinks. Honestly, can I be completely
bro? This is raw, unedited, bro.
All right, so we're at the bar, and then it's something like, "Do you smoke weed?" Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you want to? We can do that, sure. So let's go to the van or the bus or the hotel room or whatever it is, and we're both buzzed from the bar. And we're gonna maybe smoke a little joint, and that should be kind of in your lap at this point.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, now I understand that a little. The weed is the key. I live here in Colorado too, so all that's legal, bro.
That's where we
okay, now, Zach, what about if the girl is the aggressor? How do you know? I'm not being set up? There's not. She's not going to be taking a picture of me. How do you know that if the girl's being the aggressor? How do you know you're safe?
You have to be a lot more weary, and a lot of times you have to just come right out and say your fears to them. Okay. And let them know, this is what I'm worried about, and this is why, unless you make me feel really good about this, it's not going to go any further. Okay. And you have to risk sounding like a dickhead, or I'm sorry if I can say that, but you can sound like a jerk, and that you have to, because you really have no choice. At the end of the day, whatever fun you're going to have with this girl isn't worth it if she's going to go ruin your life on the internet.
Now, Zach, did you ever have a situation like that where something went terribly wrong?
Yeah, I had a girlfriend before get mad at me because I signed some breasts, and the girl whose it was took a picture of it and put it on the internet and tagged me in it and thanked me and the whole nine.
And that got you in trouble.
Yeah, she was younger looking. I knew that girl was over 18, but
yeah. Hey, Zach, have you ever been stalked?
Just really weird, aggressive behavior online. I don't think in person.
Give me some of that, though.
Yeah, I can tell you some weird stuff.
Yeah, let's hear the weird stuff.
I've had a guy, and I don't ever have a problem meeting anyone. I've had a guy, I'm in somewhere overseas, I forget, and we're on a bus, and it's 4 a.m. Everyone in my band goes to the bar but me. I stay on the bus and play video games. 4 a.m, they all come back. Dude, there's this kid outside the bus waiting to meet you. It's raining. And our show got at 12:30. I met all the kids. I look out of the bus, and sure enough, look out the window. There's a kid in a T-shirt, and it's in the rain. I'm in my pajamas. I've showered. I've been playing Xbox for 2 hours, and I go downstairs. I just open the door, and he's like, Zach. I'm like, hey, man. I didn't get off the bus just because of the weather, but he walked over, and I shook his hand, and I talked to him, and he wouldn't kind of held on for a really, really long time.
Yeah,
it was kind of strange, and I felt that a little put off by the fact that he was in such bad weather in a T-shirt for so many hours without giving up. And it makes me feel bad. I want to meet everyone, but it makes me a little weary of a person like that.
So what happened now?
Nothing. I just said, okay, man. So I'm going to, I talked to him for a few minutes, and I thanked him for probably a minute. And I thanked him for coming to the show. And I thanked him for waiting outside. I think I probably apologized to him.
Wow, that's weird, bro. That's a little weird, a little kabuki-ish for me, Yeah,
and then I'm going to shut the door now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stuff like that. People are, what they do, Vince, that you're going to think this is going to blow your mind.
Oh, boy, here we go. This is what I like the juicy stuff, bro. Here we go.
They bring you.
Oh, boy.
This is dark.
Go ahead.
At the meet and greets, they bring you their used razor blades that they used to cut themselves in their depression.
No way, bro.
That your music helped them get through it.
Are you serious?
I've been handed razor blades many times.
Oh, my God. And you're talking about guys and girls that are probably 16, 18.
Yeah. and they're, oh, your music helped me so much. It's symbolic for them.
Oh my God, I never heard that
from them. You know, I take these are the ones, and their friends will tell me, those are the ones that she used to cut herself with. And I'm not belittling them, but it means so much to her that you took them from her. Like, it's a symbolic. I'm saying.
Oh my God,
my only
bro.
thing is, hey, you're her friend. Why didn't you take them from her?
Yeah, bro, you can't even make up something like that if you wanted to.
Yeah, the razor blades is a little insane, but I mean, I feel very fortunate to be able to help people that extreme in that, like that, for that serious of a.
Yeah, of course, bro.
But I don't need the razor blades. I don't have a collection, you know?
Hey, now, Zach, you told me, and I requested this. You told me that you were going to do a first here on the show.
Yeah.
That you were actually going to play a little music for us, bro.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, the thing, we have a song. The song is called "Melanie, Video Games, and a Slight Fear of Flying." And, it's a song that a lot of times we do tours, and people are like, "When do you play that song?" And we're just like, "There's tons of reasons. There's other stuff to play." And it doesn't really have Nick on it, so I figured this is a good time to like kill two birds, and I can sing a song that's just me, and our fans can check this out, and they can hear it.
Let's hear it, bro. I love. What's the name of the song again? Melody.
It's called Melanie, Video Games, and a Slight Fear of Flying.
Let's hear it, baby.
Let me make sure you can hear everything. Can you hear that guitar?
I hear it loud and
clear, baby. All right. You hear that?
Absolutely.
I always hold on for the last kiss. It never gets easier. It's always like this. Sad in the airport, I played my SP, bitter and alone as I waited to leave. I wish I could sleep somehow right now. I took the Valium her mom gave me, but it didn't do much to save me from the heartbreak and anxiety that I wore on my sleeve. That morning, I never wanted to leave. You all alone, back at your home, and we'll see. I'll call you when I get home if this plane gets me there in one piece. And I hope for your sake I miss you more than you miss me. I know you're back at your house, your brother's on the couch playing WoW, and you haven't passed out cause you still answer my messages, even though there's nothing to say to each other. But don't go, I don't wanna stay here. I think I'm gonna try to miss my plane and stay a little bit longer. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I never wanted to leave. You all alone, back at your home, and we'll see. I'll call you when I get home if this plane gets me there in one piece. And I hope for your sake I miss you more than you miss me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I never wanted to leave. You all alone, back at your home, and we'll see. I'll call you when I get home if this plane gets me there in one piece. And I hope for your sake I miss you more than you miss me. That's it, Vince.
Yeah, baby. Zac Eisenstein, man over. Bro, I love that. Nice.
Did you?
Nice.
I'm all tangled here. Thanks, man.
Now, Zach, you got a new big album coming out soon, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about this. Heavy Love. Tell me about this album.
We recorded it. I don't think we recorded it in Fort Collins, not too far from you, right?
Wow, not too far at all, bro.
Yeah, we recorded it with the legendary punk producer and band member Bill Stevenson. He was in a band called The Descendants. He was in a band called Black Flag.
Yeah, I know them.
He produced a lot of the music that's like ours. It's on the radio right now, bands like Rise Against. But Bill's awesome. This is our we had a long time off before this album and a lot of time to reflect. That big break you were asking me about earlier, when it finally came, the big time off at home, that's when we wrote this record. And it's just not it's just about, you know, the same stuff as all our other ones, meaning it's literally about whatever was going through. It's very real, you know. I think I'm gimmicky on stage, but my lyrics are very exactly what I want to say.
Yeah.
And hasn't changed. We're really proud of it. We try to use some different sounds we haven't in the past.
Now, when is the date? I know it's June. When's the exact date?
I think it's June 2nd. I swear to God, I'm not even positive.
Okay, well, man, if that's a couple. Now, where will we be able to find it, Zach?
Wherever, iTunes, FYE, Hot Topic. You know, we prefer that you go buy it on our store, Man Overboard, defendpoppunk.com. And that has everything you need. Or actually, what you should do, scratch that. What you should do is people should go to Rise Records website, our record label. And right now they have 100 different options for if you want to pre-order our record. You could pre-order our record right now and spend $11, or you could pre-order our record right now and spend $110 with different packages. Some of them have a skateboard in them, T-shirts, different hats and stuff. Some of them come with the vinyl or a poster. We got $27 packages and $29 packages. Like whatever you want to spend, we have a cool bundle right now on the Rise Records website for the pre-orders.
Okay, so that's riserecords.com. And what's your guys' website?
It's manoverboardnj.com or defendpoppunk.com. It takes you to the same place.
Now, Zach, so I assume once the album comes out, I assume you're going to be touring to support the album, right?
Yeah. I leave for Warped Tour this year's Warped Tour. I'm home about, I don't even want to come to terms with it myself. I'm only home a little less than 3 more weeks, I think.
And how long are you going to be on the road for?
About 8 weeks or something like that. And then I'm going to come home and I'm going to go right out on, I'm going to go to Australia and Japan. And
Jeez, you're all over the place.
We're pretty busy this year.
Are you going to come out this way at any point?
I'll be out that way soon. There's got to be a Warped Tour near you. So
bro, you gotta be coming out here to What about Man Overboard at Red Rocks? Can we book that?
That would be awesome. That would be the next step for us. I'm trying to think where we what the place is called that we play in Denver usually. But we have good shows in Colorado.
But you don't have anything on the schedule right now for Colorado?
I definitely do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but if on Van's Warped Tour, there's certainly something.
I got to keep my bro. I'd love to see you guys in action, bro. No kidding around. After I met you through Twitter. I went online. I saw all your music videos, bro. I fell in love with them. You know why, bro? Because they're creative. They all tell little stories. Your characters. That's what I love, bro. And you incorporate that into Man Overboard. It's entertaining, man.
I appreciate it very much, and everyone in my band, that's gonna mean a lot to them. We're all Russo fans, man.
Well, I want you to come back on here. We'll bring the entire band on next time.
God, they would die. They'd love to.
Yeah, because I think you held some of the groupie stories close to the vest because you got a girlfriend now and all that. So maybe there's somebody else in the band that'll be.
I don't know. We'll see.
But listen, Zach, I had an absolute blast.
Me too, man. It's an honor. I'm a really big fan of yours, and it means a lot that you have me on the show.
Well, I'm a huge fan of yours, but listen, I don't want it to end here. I want you to be a friend of the show. You keep coming on when you get a chance. You let me know what Man Overboard is doing, whatever we got to promote, whatever we got to do. I want you to continue to come on the show.
Definitely.
We got a deal.
Deal.
Now, anything you want to tell them where to follow you on Twitter? Anything else you want to tell them?
I'm at Zac Overboard without the E, ZACOVRBOARD. That's me on everything. That's my Instagram. That's my Twitter. And I'm on Periscope. Do you know about Periscope yet?
No. What is this Periscope?
Periscope is cool. So you broadcast live. So I log into my Periscope and I see who that I follow is online right now. And it says Vince Russo's online right now. And I click Vince Russo, and now I'm seeing live what you're filming through your phone while you broadcast it to me. So all the people are watching Vince Russo's stream that you're streaming out of your iPhone, and you're going, oh, you know, I'm at we're cooking ribs for dinner. We're cooking ribs for dinner.
Wow, so Periscope. I got to check out this Periscope.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun. I get when I'm all like you know, in top form, we'll call it, leaving the bar. And of course, I'm never the one driving. When I have other people driving me, I do like dance parties. I go on Twitter and be like, go on Periscope right now. I'm going to sing to you guys. I like it. It's fun.
Well, Zac, thanks for joining us. Listen, don't go anywhere yet because I want to give you a personal goodbye, but I just want to wrap up the show. Cool. But everybody, you just saw that was Zac Eisenstein from Man Overboard. They got a new album coming out. Zac thinks it's June 2nd, but we know the name of it is Heavy Love. Now, Zac, we should go to riserecords.com if we want to buy that album, right?
Correct. Pre-order it.
Well, there you go, everybody. I want to thank Zac. We'll be seeing him again on this show. And as always, I will catch everybody on the rebound. Thanks for joining us today.
I guess I'm losing confidence in my